Good morning, almost afternoon. We're starting a little late today, but we've been busy.
Is this like daylight savings time or something like that?
No,
No.
we're just starting late. So, but welcome to Family Jewels.
Do we look more awake?
Hmm.
Look at your eyes.
Maybe a little bit. We got so much light going on here; it's crazy. There we go. That's a little bit better.
Yeah,
We look a little bit more tan. Let's scoot this back a little bit here. So, yeah, we're getting started an hour late, but we've been busy this morning, so that's good. But we're going to be talking about Aquamarine, and we talked about this last season. But we did it as barrel. We kind of covered all of them. So we're going to spend a little bit more time.
And it's B-E-R-Y-L. It's not B-A-R-R-E-L.
Yeah.
L. How many L's is in there?
It's not a whiskey barrel.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and it has beryllium in it, so maybe that's part of the reason that it's barrel.
Oh, could be.
I always thought that was weird.
Well, there's a lot of them that have weird names.
Yeah, but it's like somewhere along the line they throw in something that's weird. You know, like barrel. I mean,
it's still more normal than most names for medications and stuff that they're coming out with nowadays.
How do they come up with that stuff?
I don't know, but I want that job because I think it'd be pretty easy. So anyway, we're talking about barrel, but more specifically, we're talking about Aquamarine. And most people have a hard time kind of differentiating the difference between Aquamarine and Blue Topaz, which is probably its biggest competitor in the market. But Aquamarine does kind of stand alone on its, just on its own merits. It's beautiful stone, naturally blue. Some of it gets heat treated now and then, but
I'm going to say the deeper blue stuff is probably all heat treated.
Yeah.
I think there's some that try to say that it's not, but
yeah.
The other people I've talked to, the deeper blue stuff has all been heat treated.
Yeah.
It's not a high temperature heat like some of it is.
No.
But
but with Aquamarine, unlike some of the other stones where there's a lot of variances in shades of color and stuff like that, Aquamarine is going to always be blue. It may have some green to it. It may be a little bit lighter, but it's always blue.
It almost like a pastel blue. It's not
You're not going to have like a sapphire blue.
No. A royal blue or
it's always going to be
cobalt blue. You're not going to have that.
It's going to be more of that sky blue, that lighter color. And we've got some examples of it. The thing is like a lot of those stones out there, whenever colors change, then the name for that stone changes. So if this gets to the point where it's actually colorless, then it actually is a stone called Goshenite.
That's a weird name.
Yeah, that one's weird too. But if it has any tint of blue to it at all, and it is a barrel, then it falls into the Aquamarine.
And you keep bringing up that barrel thing. We ought to tell them that probably the more famous of the barrels
is emerald.
Emerald. So the only difference between emerald and aquamarine
is color.
Yep. If it's green, it's going to be either green barrel until it gets green enough, and then it's emerald.
Yeah.
Or aquamarine, and it'll be Goshenite until it gets some blue in it, and then it's aquamarine.
Yeah. And then if it's got yellow, it's Heliodor. If it's pink, it's Morganite. So it's all based on that color, but these are all in the barrel family. And but specifically, we're talking about Aquamarine. We've got some examples here, and this is kind of the range. Actually, we've got one that's really light. We've got one that's still pretty light, and then we've got one that's a little darker. But
they can get darker.
They can definitely get darker than what we've got. But typically, of what you're going to see out there in the trade, and especially if it's something you're shopping at the chain stores and stuff like that, it's going to be pretty light. If you find it at all. Most of them are going to be using blue topaz.
And one reason why we're kind of talking about Aquamarine is we've had a lot of interest here lately in Aquamarine.
Yeah.
Actually, I just got you doing an appraisal on an Aquamarine.
Aquamarine.
Yeah.
Yes, it is March birthstone. So, what was it last week? We talked about February's birthstone, which is amethyst.
So it's going to be like a quiz. What are the first 3 months birthstones or something like that?
We could do that.
Yeah.
But like you can see, this one's pretty light. This one's almost colorless, but does have a slight tint of blue to it, so it still falls in that aquamarine. But had this been completely colorless, this would have fallen in the goshenite category. And then this is a little bit more of what you want for aquamarine. A lot of people confuse this with blue topaz, and if we could buy aquamarine at blue topaz prices, that would be pretty amazing. But this one is almost a 6-carat stone, and this one's 4,400 for this stone. But if you've got this in blue topaz, you're talking maybe
more like the 400.
yeah, a few $100 instead of a few thousand. And rarity is a huge factor there, but two totally different stones.
I did a little bit of research or a little reading on Aquamarine, and Colton kind of did the same thing. So the largest gem quality crystal ever found weighed
244 pounds.
Yeah, so they can come in large crystals.
Yeah. And
the other thing that's nice about aquamarine versus the emerald is normally aquamarine is really clean.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when I was reading about that crystal that they found that was 244 pounds, it was so clean that they actually looked through the length of the crystal and could read papers underneath it.
Mm.
They could actually see through it just like it was glass. It was that clean.
That brings up another little deal that in Italy in the 13th century they couldn't get glass clear enough or clean enough or something. The first glasses in Italy were made out of basically goshenite, which would be
colorless beryl. Yeah.
Kind of like aquamarine or
So
whatever.
so to go back to this largest crystal, it was found in 1910 in Brazil, and it was 19 inches long and 15 inches in diameter.
Wow, it's almost like a cube.
Yeah. It's
except it doesn't come in cube shape. But I mean,
that's
thick.
That's a big piece of aquamarine.
I guess I didn't pay any attention to that. And then the other thing that we found out is the largest cut aquamarine is in the Smithsonian,
mm-hmm.
and it's called the Dom Pedro.
Dom Pedro.
Dom Pedro.
Does it have like a lot of little aquamarines around it, and they got little hats on?
No, it's named after a couple emperors in Brazil.
Ah.
And it weighs 10,363 carats.
Woo! Put that around your neck.
14 inches long and 4 inches wide.
Wow.
But the other thing, and actually the Smithsonian really has some cool gemstones. We're probably not the...
They kind of have access to that. I mean, when you're...
Yeah, it's free to go there. I mean, you need to go through the gems and gemology part, because it's...
The Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, I keep telling people that, they remodeled this, but now it's probably been 20 years or longer since they've done that. But
Seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
I saw the Smithsonian before they remodeled and then after they remodeled, and there's like a world of difference. And then I guess the other thing was...
Well, it wouldn't have made any sense for them to remodel and they're
not make a world of difference, but I mean, it's like a lot different. The first time I went, they basically said that they had about 10% of gems and minerals on display that they actually had.
Wow.
I don't know if they increased it whenever they did the other one, but that was just almost unfathomable. There's only 10% of what you were seeing.
Yeah. So, okay, we're straying a little bit, but
no, not really.
A little bit.
We are?
A little bit.
Okay.
So we was talking about the crystals and how they're really clean and everything. These are actually some really good examples of the rough crystals. And a lot of this stuff, and these are actually, this one's actually carved, and it's hard to see, but they actually carved a fish in water in that one. But in Brazil, this is something else that I was reading that was kind of cool, is there's like thousands of mines in Brazil that are producing just aquamarine. And most of this stuff is alluvial, which means that they're not actually at a primary source. They're not actually mining it where it formed.
By water.
Yeah, water, wind, whatever.
It'll be water.
It'd be water there that's carried it somewhere else. And for a long time, until they changed some of the laws down there and everything, there's a lot of guys that were just out there with shovels and hammers and basically just...
What'd the law change? They said couldn't take their shovels and hammers? Or
well, they made it much more difficult on them to get their stones and stuff to market.
They blindfolded them.
But they were basically, like, whenever they found the first large crystal back in 1811, I think is when it was. Where did I see that at?
They're probably in that little booklet there.
Yeah, it's in here. Yeah, they found one that weighed 15 pounds was the first big crystal they found in Brazil. And that was in 1811, and they found it lying in a riverbed. And so it was one of those deals where a lot of this stuff is alluvial.
You know, where it looks kind of like really pure water. Maybe they
overlooked
overlooked on it. And all this time, it's just water right there. Probably some ice.
Till the guy tripped on it. Yeah, there's an ice cube in the middle of the rainforest. Yeah.
It looked like it had melted by now.
Yeah. But, so a lot of this stuff is being found pretty close to the surface. But these crystals, they form pretty big. Usually they're really clean, kind of like what we talked about before. So they're pretty free of inclusions. But what's really, really nice about this is the way that they cut the stones and the way that the color is oriented in these crystals lends itself to cutting larger stuff too.
Mm-hmm. A lot of elongated, a lot of emerald cuts.
Yeah, and ovals.
Ovals, yeah.
But usually, because there is a pretty good supply of real clean aquamarine crystals, a lot of that stuff that you find is going to be pretty well cut. And actually,
yeah,
there's some that's
windowy stuff.
Yeah, but for the most part, a lot of that's pretty well cut. What's kind of crazy though is normally with most stones, whenever they get really large, prices go up. But with aquamarine, once you get to like 25 carats, because it's not as usable in jewelry, but it's still available, that price actually starts coming down. So there's not a lot of it that's cut larger than that, other than, maybe some fashion stones or some carved pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah, that little obelisk that they cut, that would probably have been difficult to wear.
Yeah.
You couldn't go jogging with that.
No. You'd hurt yourself.
10,000 carats.
You'd hurt yourself. Yeah.
Maybe slip it in your phone. Oh, no, it's like 14 inches long. Almost.
Yeah. It's big.
14
by 4. That's a big piece.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of the commercial stuff is coming out of China now. It's pretty pale. It's all calibrated stones for the most part, and they're all primarily under 2 carats. The nicer stuff is still coming out of Brazil. You get a little bit out of Pakistan.
Madagascar's got some.
Yeah, Madagascar, Kenya, Australia.
The United States produces some.
Yeah, and Zambia. But still, really, the biggest source for it is Brazil, and they're pretty consistent with the stones that are coming out of there.
What do you mean?
It's pretty consistent production.
Oh.
It's not really slowed down, but they're not flooding the market either. But kind of one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit was that big competitor we mentioned earlier, which is blue topaz.
Oh.
That really kind of hogs up a lot of that market that aquamarine would have normally had, But with blue topaz coming in and being the same color, still being a pretty durable stone, and being a lot less per carat, it kind of hurt the market. But those customers out there that are really well informed, the ones that really like their gems and like those.
It still has a little different look, but it's one of those things. It's kind of subtle. But you get like the really nice, like the Santa Maria Aquamarine that gets to a deep steel blue. There's really not a blue topaz that looks quite like that.
No.
But otherwise, kind of like this is not real deep. You're getting a little bit more of that steel color, and that light has kind of washed it out a little bit.
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
has.
Because it's actually a deeper blue than what it appears.
Yeah.
But you're getting close to this. This probably doesn't get as confused with blue topaz as what some does.
Yeah. But you get
Afghanistan has produced aquamarine because we've had some people that are serving the country, I guess, over there, and they've actually brought some aquamarine back. So.
Yeah, and some of that's been really pretty, and for the most part, pretty well cut. But still a beautiful stone. We encourage you guys to check it out. Again, it is March birthstone, so if you've got a March birthday or somebody that that has a March birthday, that it makes for a pretty cool stone to give them as a gift.
I'm kind of thinking about my next pair of glasses. Maybe I get some Goshenite lenses.
No.
No? That'd be kind of cool.
You should just use sapphire lenses.
Yeah,
I guess
colorless sapphire.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can't get that, I don't know, refractive thing in there to work right. I don't know. If you do it on a watch or something, you just see right through it.
Elton John had sapphire lens glasses at one point.
Yeah, but his eyes were probably all right anyway. And they were what, pink?
They were blue.
They were blue?
Yeah.
Sapphire glasses?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Synthetic?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to stop by or give us a call or send us a message here on Facebook. But we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week on Family Jewels. Thanks.
Thank you.